Welcome to 501, week 6. Can you believe it? Week 6, 7, 8, and we're done. So hang in there. The big push starting this week really is looking at that final assignment, the LA Unified iPad reboot. It's the last big assignment you're going to be having. So in some ways, week 6 might be kind of the lightest week because there's not like a big assignment that's due on Sunday. Um, that said, there's a really big assignment due week 8, so hopefully you will get a good start in that with your groups. So let's actually go right to that. Talk about that assignment. If you're on the week 6 page in Blackboard and look down at the bottom of the page, it's a look ahead. It's not here's what's due this week. It's that cloud presentation on the LA Unified reboot. That's due week 8. I already said that. One thing you need to do is in groups, make sure that you self-enroll in a group. It looks like 6 people have done that so far. So there's 9 groups. There's way more than you would need, and the groups are called Collaborative Presentation on LAUSD iPad Reset. 1, Collaborative Presentation on LAUSD iPad Reset. 2, and on and on. So you're actually going to click on one of those groups, and then you can actually join. And there's an assignment that's going to connect with that. The one thing I will need you to do, and I'll remind you the next 3 weeks, is that when it's time to submit in week 8, each person needs to actually submit. There's a link actually in the group. If you click on the name of your group, where it gives you, like the group discussion board and all those things, there's a link to submit that assignment. Everyone needs to submit that assignment, or else I can't grade it. It's a goofy thing in Blackboard where it's a group assignment, so you're required to submit. Anyway, just in week 8, just know that that's coming. One other thing that has changed from the first 4 weeks with our department meeting that we had recently, we were asked quite strongly to ask you, and mostly just kind of tell you honestly, but please use the group discussion board to keep track of your conversations. So it's definitely more of a hassle than like a group text, but there have been enough cases where somebody in the group didn't pull their own weight or didn't do something or said they contributed when they didn't or didn't contribute and whatever. You get the idea, right? You guys are all teachers, and group assignments are tricky. They're That's how we work as adults, but it's tricky. So the way mostly to make sure that accreditation goes smoothly, the way that we can prove that our students are collaborating is by using groups in Blackboard, using group discussion boards. So please do that. Please and thank you. I know that it's not a way you'll ever collaborate ever again. It'd be great if we could just all use Slack and call it a day. If you don't know Slack, check that out. That will change your life when it comes to collaborating. And let's just look kind of big picture at assignment 5, your collaborative presentation on the LA Unified School District iPad reboot. So this is 10% of your course grade. It's due week 8. The idea behind it is that it's a while ago now, but it's still like it's such a cool way to end this course. In 2013, LA Unified spent a little over $1 billion to roll out iPads. They got like 2/3 of a million iPads. And the interesting thing, and I want you to dig into this, I don't want to give you too much of a bias, but Pearson Publishing made a handful of promises about what you could do with these devices, and the cliff notes of it that you may have heard that I don't necessarily agree with, but it's something like, oh, LA Unified spent $1 billion ish on iPads. They got less than a million ish iPads. It was a disaster, and students hacked them, and they whatever, and then they tried to return them all to Apple. And it just didn't go well. So there's a couple things that I want to caution you on as you dive deeper into this. Hopefully you've already gotten a start on this, but I know a lot of you haven't joined a group yet. So as you jump into it, just know that deploying 20 iPads is a lot of work, and choosing to go with iPads or just any platform for hardware is a big decision. And I think as long as people have students at the center of those choices, then it's good. And I think that it's important to assume goodwill. It's so easy to be like a backseat driver on this and go, here's where this person messed up, here's where that person messed up, and they did this and this, and it's so easy. And then partially because I think the way the assignment is presented, it's so easy to move to a place of judgment. But try your best to assume goodwill. We have maybe 600 devices on our campus. We're an independent school, so I manage everything from, like today I was just drilling holes in a ceiling to put a wireless access point. From doing that to like resetting a password to deciding we're going to have one-to-one iPads from kindergarten through 8th grade. Making that decision and continuing to make that decision and figuring out how often they're refreshed and what apps they get and how you manage the apps. And if you're, there's so many really important decisions that's really complicated. Like with 600 devices, it's really complicated. So I could not imagine in LA Unified's case, they had 650,000 iPads. 650,000. My school has less than 1,000, and it's really hard with less than 1,000. And they had 650,000 iPads. So assume goodwill. And the goal is to create a slide deck where you're going to show the idea is, LA Unified recalled it and went from 650,000 iPads to zero-ish. If you were to roll that out again, if you were leading the charge, how would you approach it? And so much of that, like so much of my job as director of technology, is not about the tool. In fact, I had a couple of really big presentations this summer at ISTE and also at the Apple Distinguished Educator Academy. And in both, I had just a moment where it was like, it's not about the tool, right? It's not about the iPad. It's not about the platform. It's not about the whatever, right? It's always about, it's about the student, right? But it's what you're doing with these devices. So a big part of what you're going to be talking about is your vision for what education should look like. It says, like in the Google Doc, a vision for 21st century education, right? The 21st century has been here for 18 years now. Can we please just start like teaching and deploying devices as though we're in the 21st century, because we're like 20% done with it. So 21st century is not a distant thing; it is now. So what is that vision for education, right? Devices are a part of that. They can be a big part of it. You're going to share, a lot of that and how there's kind of the deployment process, the procurement and finding things, how that would work. And yeah, there's lots of resources. The process for you is outlined. If you've not looked at it, as a 4-page Google Doc that walks you through, including the rubric of what, kind of how to approach it and what to be looking for. It's a cool assignment. I think I've said enough about it for right now. If we go back to just kind of week 6, Blackboard, there is a discussion post. It's an interesting one. Continues to talk about servant leaders, but looks at how, and it goes to the Friar text, obviously, looking at, I'll just read it for you, how you cross the line from caring for coworkers to manipulating them. So it's like, ooh, kind of, I don't know. I thought something clever would come to mind. It did not. You get the idea, though. Your collaborative exercise is going to be looking at Prensky's assessments for 21st century learning. So you're going to create a slide deck, a collaborative slide deck, and you're going to design a plan for using multiple types of assessment, which is good stuff. It's a worthwhile collaborative exercise. Again, you have that checkpoint, and yeah, that's about it. So, hope you enjoy week 6. Reach out if you have questions about what's going on. Thank you for your patience with assignments, particularly with the grading. I was like really sick, kind of out of nowhere. I'm not used to that. I'm used to being able to go nonstop, and it was not fun. So, without diving into all of that, just thank you for your patience, and I'll get caught up and get that feedback out to you. Enjoy week 6. one last thing, if you're thinking of presenting at ISTE, the big international EdTech organization, you have until the 29th, so a week from Friday. So, or this Friday, depending on when you listen to it. If you're looking at this video later, then a year and a half ago it was due. But the 29th of September, or whatever version that Friday night is, in 2017. So enjoy week 6. Look forward to hearing what you create and seeing your discussions.